Immigrants are a very important part of the U.S. labor force, at around a fifth of the U.S. employment. And the pandemic clearly had major effects on the U.S. labor market. And what we see is that immigrants respond to two factors, the push and the pull factors. Push factors are when in their source nations there's civil strife or poverty, they would tend to be pushed out of those nations to seek opportunities elsewhere. Pull factors would be the economic prosperity of the United States. However, these push and pull factors were disrupted because of the pandemic, with severe border restrictions during this period, and also just a loss of jobs, which lowers the economic opportunities. The immigrant employment share actually was fairly high at around 18.5% pre-pandemic, and we are talking February 2020. But there was a very sharp drop right around the time that the pandemic recession hit the United States. The number came down all the way to around 17%. Now, you may think 1.5%, but first of all, remember that it's a very large economy. Second point is that while immigrant employment was falling, the national employment was also falling. So the ratio, the denominator was falling too. So to make the ratio fall, the immigrant employment actually had to fall much sharper. The good news, however, is that there have been recovery on all fronts, and the post-pandemic period is looking really good. Studying immigrant employment in the United States is very important because immigrants provide very valuable skills. When you think of the Silicon Valley, for example, immigrants play a very large part in it. On the other end of the spectrum, you have farm workers in California helping a lot to keep the U.S. food prices low. And the U.S. growth in the future depends on how we deal with immigrants and immigration policy. See my Regional Economist article for more details on these issues.